What is going on? DJ Hapa here, and we are at Scratch DJ Academy here in Los Angeles today to bring you another video on mixing. And in this video, we're going to get more in depth with how to set cue points, strategy with cue points, breaking down songs, understanding the song structure to then put into the mix. Today, we're going to be working off of the Hercules DJ controlled JogVision in front of me. We're also going to be using Serato DJ intro. So that's what we're using today, and this will be part one of two. So make sure that you watch both videos because we'll do this one first on the offline player and then we'll put it all together in the second video. But you got to see this one before the other one. So here we go. Let's get started. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to push the JogVision aside for a minute. I'm going to bring up my computer and I'm going to show you how to, what I like to call, map the track in the offline player first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, and the idea here is we're going to set cue points, and we need to know two things really. We need to know how to get in and how to get out of every single record that we're going to play. It's really important. I see people all the time just start DJing and not sure how they're going to get in and out of a record. And you've got to know the song structure. So we're going to have to rely back on music theory. So beats, bars, and phrases. I'm going to go in. Let's pull up this song. This is actually a remix that me and a couple buddies made of this Rihanna work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and set these cue points. Now you can see right here in this area I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 cue points. And now we're using Serato DJ intro. However, you can use the JogVision with Serato DJ as well. So all it is an upgrade. We might actually have something very special for those of you who watch till the end of the video here for you if you're looking to upgrade to Serato DJ. So first things first, I pull up the track on the deck. And I'm just going to start to play it and figure out how I'm going to get in and out of the record. So understanding the intro first would be important. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play. So what I'm looking for is to try to figure out, I'm counting it. Let me bring this actually back. I'll count this with you. So we talked about this in the very first video of beats and bars, and I'm going to count out the bars with you just as a reminder, as a refresher. So it is 4 beats to a bar, 4 bars to a phrase. And I'm trying to figure out how many bars is the intro, how much of it is usable. And by usable, I'm really looking for something that's instrumental so that I can tuck that in under the one that I'm playing, the one that I'm going out of. So let's start here again, and I'll count it with you here, and it's hit play, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. So it's 2 sets of 4. So we've got 2 phrases that are there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that first one. Mark my first one by hitting plus. And now that's going to set it as a red cue point. Now I can change the colors on a Mac here. It's control click or right click on a PC. And I can pull up my different color palette. Now, the colors are going to be important later on. In fact, I'll show you how I'm going to use colors to help me understand the breakdown of the song a little bit better, just even at first glance. So I've got my first cue point here, and that's 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set, now you might notice that there's this white cue point that's sitting over the red one, and that's a thing that's inside of intro. When I put this into Serato DJ, that white temporary cue point won't be there anymore. So let me keep going. In this case, I'm going to set another cue point on the next phrase. So on that 5 right here. Now, I'll tell you later why that would be really important, but I'm going to set this right now. So I'm going to hit plus again. That'll bring up the cue point. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to color this yellow. And I'll create a graphic here that will show you exactly what the colors are that I'm using. You can use my template for now. You can deviate from it. That might be a good way, though, of getting you started, is to use a template, a color palette that I like to use. So to me, every time I see a red cue point, red means 8 bars. Yellow means 4 bars. So I know that just by looking at the track, I'll know exactly how long those sections are. Now for the intro, I've set a red cue point at the beginning of the intro, which would give me a full 8-bar intro. Or I can pick it up from halfway on that yellow one, which will give me 4 bars. So depending on the song that I'm coming out of, the song that I'm coming out of has a short out, I might want to use the yellow one. If it's got a longer out, I might use the red one. So this is sort of, you're playing Tetris. You're making sure that things can line up. I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to skip through the track a little bit. Now keep in mind, we're not trying to map the entire song and set cue points for every piece of the song. What I'm most concerned with is how to get in and how to get out of every single song. So for me, I'm looking for the out. So this thing sort of builds and then comes to this plateau where this to me would be potentially a mix point out. So let's see how long this is. Let's count it again, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4. Cool, so that section right there is 8 bars. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, why do I need to do this? Like, why is this important? Well, I'll give you a good answer here. As DJs, we're playing other people's music. In this case, this is a remix that I actually made, but it's still this Rihanna song. So people know this record. They know different parts of this record. There are natural points in the record in which there's a different phrase, where there's a change. So when you look at a song, it's broken up into these little blocks. If you are changing the song in between the blocks, it'll sound more natural. If you're changing them in the middle of that block, it's almost as if that phrase doesn't get a chance to finish naturally. And what we want to do is we want to try and enhance what is going on, not strip away from the song that's actually there. So it's really important that we follow sort of the structure that's there. In our case, we're taking music that's already been made and deconstructing it so that then we can put something else together. So it's about breaking it down first to then figure out like which pieces we can use to put together. For anybody out there that wants to get into producing their own music, producing their own remixes, this idea of thinking about the structure of the music and thinking about it in these chunks is going to help you tremendously when you go to start to make your own tracks too. It's not just one long track. It's not one 4-minute track. There's pieces that are actually there. So I'm going to go in and set this cue point again here. Okay, and now this, according to the colors that I mentioned before, should be red. 8 bars is red, so I'm going to go ahead and set that again. Now, changing the color, Control, click, change that to red. So now, as I start to look at my track, I'm going to be able to see, well, there's a red mark there, which means that there's an 8-bar section there that I can get out on. The things that I'm looking for are places that are either instrumental, so maybe like an instrumental breakdown piece, or high points of the record. So if I'm mixing more sort of popular music and things have choruses, I'm really looking to figure out how long is that chorus. Because the last thing I want to do is cut the song before the chorus finishes. Not a good idea. All right, so, and for any sort of electronic music, oftentimes there's this sort of build to then the drop. The drop itself would be the mix point. Or in some cases, there's actually a specific mix point at the end of that drop, which sort of levels off for 8 bars or 16 bars. And what you'll start to find is that a lot of these tracks have this sort of formulaic approach, like everything is in 4s or in 8s. You'll start to see that there definitely is this structure and this pattern to music. Cool, so I'm going to keep going. We'll do another mix point here. So I wouldn't want to mix out of this song before it gets back to the hook, and the drop. So this is all part of the verse. And let this keep playing. It's the chorus. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so I'm going to set this other mark here, and let's figure out how long it is. I'm going to set that mark here. Let's just assume it's the same length. Let's say it's 8 bars. We should check that, though, because not every piece is the exact same. So while maybe the first drop is 8 bars, the second drop might actually be double that. In fact, let's see. 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so that is 8 bars. So let's go ahead and change that to back to red. Cool, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do this to every single record. And I know that at first it seems like a lot of work and you're like, wow, like I don't know if I wanna do that. I just wanna jump on and start mixing. Every time I download new music, I set aside time to sit and map songs and figure out how I'm gonna get in and out of records. And now you might be saying to yourself, well, I want to be more free flow and a little bit more freestyle while I'm DJing. Well, trust me when I tell you that you will have the ability to be more free when you're DJing if you have this already. Great, so now that we've finished that on the offline player, we are now going to plug in the JogVision and allow for us to mix these together now. So we're going to take all the work that we've done and now see how that has made that easier and how we're going to put it together in the actual mix. So this is part 1. The next video is part 2. We're putting it all together. Click on to the next video and see it all come together.